Hello, everyone, and welcome to this conversation presented by White House Custom Color.
Are you trying to mute me?
No, it's just real loud, and I can't.
I sold Amazon, but it was $25.
Listening to listen, not listening to respond.
Yes! Oh, thank you for that. What are you going to show me today?
Okay, so I'm going to just show one of my more common sales type images that I produce for women and children, and that's my fairy line. Mm-hmm. But what I want to show you is like when I style women specifically and kids too, a lot of times the mothers or the women will look at me like I'm a little crazy because I'll put like a purple skirt with a green and yellow shirt, and they'll go, and I'll go, no, don't worry about colors because I can change colors to absolutely anything.
Okay.
And just recently, I discovered a new technique for changing colors that literally blew my mind. So I thought, you know what? There's probably 3 or 4 different ways of changing colors.
Yeah.
And prior to me learning this technique, I would have to usually do 2 or 3 of those methods in order to get the final result that I wanted. But this one in particular gets everything done in one method, and It will blow your mind.
Okay. I love it.
Okay. And especially, let me just say that when you're trying to change a very light color, like a cream or a white, to a darker color, that can be very, it can be difficult. So I wanted to show you on a cream colored dress. And so I just brought up this image. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go ahead and just do that. So this is a raw image. And so you can see it's still a smart object. So I'm just going to go ahead and flatten that to begin.
Okay.
But what you have to do initially with this is you have to either select with a lasso tool or a pen tool, or however you like to make your selections in Photoshop. Mm-hmm. But what I do is, for ease of use, I'll just use my lasso tool. But what I'll do is I'll just go like this, and I'll just select the lighter color that I want to change the color of. Now, for this, obviously, because I'm doing it off the cuff and really quick in front of you, I'm just going to do a half messy job. Okay.
You're holding down Shift right now to add to that selection.
I am.
Is it also fair for me to assume that you are using a tablet, or are you doing this with a mouse?
Oh my goodness. People need to get a tablet ASAP.
Okay. I assumed that because you were very precise in what you're even able to do. That it almost looks robotic. You're so good at that.
I've done it 100 million times.
Yeah.
For real. And of course it just did that. So let's go back. And just to make this even more impressive, I'm just going to go ahead and just select this other cream color so that you can see exactly how this works and how easy it will be for everybody for the rest of their lives to do this. Okay.
I would like it to be as impressive as possible. Now, let me ask you this. In making these selections, how important is it to get a really airtight selection?
Not terribly, because you are going to be working with a mask afterwards. So you could go in with a hard brush and just minus or subtract whatever you need to do, or even feather it in with a softer brush.
Okay.
So now what we do is we're going to go to our adjustment layer down here, and we are going to choose gradient map, which is the second one in the menu of your adjustment layers.
Gradient map.
So we're choosing gradient map, and we're going to just click on the gradient map here.
That's under properties now.
It's going to pull up your gradient editor. If you just simply click on the gradient right there in your layers palette. We're going to click basics, and we're just going to choose a basic black and white. So now you can see immediately it's already touched the selected parts of your wardrobe. Yes.
Right.
So now, but what we want to do is we want to change it to a color. We don't necessarily want it to be black and white or gray as it is. And in order to do that, we want to change the midtones, or we want to start in the midtone. So we're just going to, you can see my cursor here changes to the eyedropper, but if you go down a bit, it turns to a hand. Just click there. And now it's going to pull up your colors. Now we click on the color, and from here we can change it to any color we want. So let's say we want to go a nice royal blue or somewhere in here. Let's say we like this color. What we need to do from here is you can pull it to the right, which is going to make it darker, or you can pull it to the left, which is going to make it lighter. And what this does is it changes all of the highlights and the shadows and the midtones so that it's all cohesive and it doesn't look like odd. Do you know what I mean? But
yes, I do.
You can come in here and you can select any color. Let's say we want it to be the color of something that's already existing. You can just pull it over, sample that color, which actually it's just going to choose the mask. So we'll come into the greens because we know that's like a green. And let's choose a color like, let's say this. Now, if we pull it to the right, it's going to darken it up so it actually matches the environment and the exposure a bit better, right?
Yeah.
But that's what you can do. That's what you can do with this.
And so you also would have selected the rest of her dress.
No, because this was cream. So I just wanted to affect the one color, right?
Oh, just that piece.
Just that piece, because it's a white or a cream dress.
Oh, is the rest of that tooling then?
Yeah, the rest of that is just like a sage colored tool.
Okay.
So we don't want, it would have a different effect on this color because it's not the same as this one. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic technique.
So this is one of the most wonderful things that I have come across lately. And you can also go a little further with it if you want to by adding another point. So again, I'm holding here. Now I can add another color just in the shadows. So let's say I wanted my shadows to be red. Then I can come in here and I can just make just the shadows red.
Oh my.
Right? So you still have that original green in the highlights and some of the midtones. Click OK, and then you can come into your layer and you can just reduce the opacity on that however you want as well.
And now all of this is on an adjustment layer. So you have that mask, right?
Yeah.
That then you can go back in and clean up and tweak a little bit around the edges and integrate it a little bit more.
Yep, because like in here, you can see it's got a hard edge.
Yes.
But what I tell everybody to do with this, and some people know about this and some people don't, when you're working with a mask and you have a hard edge like that, you can always just come right into your layer mask properties. And if you pull your feather to the right, it's just going to soften it. So then it's really a non-issue.
That is a huge piece right there in and of itself.
Yeah.
So you have the layer mask selected, you go into properties, and then the properties of that layer mask, you have the feather slider.
That's right.
And you can feather that out and soften that edge all the way around.
Yeah. So I have properties right next to my layers because I always use it. But if you can't find it in your system, you can just click Windows and then choose properties here. And you can drag it over here to your layers palette and put it wherever you want.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. So it's just so much better. And I mean, I was working on a cream color here. You can do the same thing on any other color and affect it the same way.
Well, and you can use the same technique to go in and add an extra color to the highlights too on the other side, I'm assuming.
For sure, yeah. So let's double click on this and go back in. If we add one here, let's say we want, a nice, I don't know, peachy orange color.
Yeah.
Click OK. And then you're going to come in here and just play with that. It's not going to be quite as noticeable. It's there, but it's just on the very, very highlight. So you can see it right here if I zoom in.
Yeah, I see it.
You can
see
and
don't you also find that the devil's in the details with these things, right? Like
absolutely.
Just that extra little piece sometimes, especially when they're compounded, is kind of what separates the really seasoned or the really great stuff from the mediocre stuff, wouldn't you say?
Bet. Absolutely.
Oh, I love it. I like the feather piece too, because I would go around with a soft edge brush in certain spots and try to clean that up, and you just did it with a slider.
Just with a slider. I know, and a lot of my students, when I teach, they say, "Oh, I just use my blur tool on the mask." Well, you don't have to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was fantastic and phenomenal. You showed me some amazing things like I knew you would.
No problem. My pleasure.
Have a great day today.
Thanks, Jed. You too.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this conversation presented by White House Custom Color on YouTube. Be sure to check out our other content and click that subscribe button right there. Right. Right there. It's there somewhere.